get started, I'm just here to introduce our speaker for today. Please welcome Jason Phillips, licensed therapist, mental health consultant, and nationally recognized speaker. With over 15 years of experience, Jason has helped high achievers, including celebrities, athletes, community leaders, break through the barriers of anxiety, burnout, and imposter syndrome. From boardrooms to barbershops, Jason is known for bridging clinical expertise with cultural relevance. Today, he's back home in Detroit, not just to speak, but to pour into every community that helped shape him. Get ready to be challenged, inspired, empowered. Please welcome Jason Phillips.
How y'all doing today? How y'all feeling?
All right.
Good, man. It's been an awesome conference. What y'all say?
Yeah.
Second year in a row. So today we're going to be discussing imposter syndrome. Just by show of hands, how many of us are familiar with the term imposter syndrome? Okay. So we're gonna get into it. I see some full hands, I'm not so sure. Let me ask you this. How many of you all have been in spaces where you felt like you didn't belong? Even though you worked hard, you had the resume, the credentials, but sometimes you still feel like you weren't good enough. I see yes, not. That's not humility. That's imposter syndrome. And then when you've been in spaces, like corporate spaces, that weren't necessarily built for you, anybody work in corporate? Or have worked in corporate? Anybody work in education, you in the classrooms? That feeling that you're not enough or you don't belong, it can hit even harder. So today I'm talking to you all after working with hundreds of professionals, high performers, high achievers, to overcome imposter syndrome, but I'm also talking to you all from personal experience as well. So I started my college career here at Wayne State and transferred to Eastern. Then for graduate school, I went to University of Michigan, PWI. And I'll never forget, there was one class I had. I can't remember the name of the professor, I don't remember the class, but I remember the feedback he gave me. So y'all know at the end of a class, what do you typically have to do? Evaluation, what else? Finals. And what could that look like? It starts with a P. I'm doing it right now. Presentation. Yeah. Presentation.
Right. I know that.
Yeah. Right. Presentation. I get a presentation, and I remember I didn't use my note card, so I felt good about that. The presentation, it went smooth, but the feedback the professor gave me, he said, Jason, awesome presentation. Would have loved to heard more from you throughout the course. Because believe it or not, guess how many times I had spoken up during that class? 0. Because I felt like if I did speak up, being the only black man in that class, I had to have the right answer. If I was going to comment, it better be a real good comment.
Right.
If I was going to challenge something that somebody said that I knew was kind of off or I had a different opinion on it, I'm overthinking it. So essentially, I kept all of that inside. So I'm talking to y'all not just from professional experience, but personal experience as well when it comes to imposter syndrome. So we're gonna break down the definition of imposter syndrome. We're gonna talk about how it impacts your mental health and what it looks like in real time. And then most importantly, we're gonna discuss the tools and tips to manage imposter syndrome. So I know I had a conversation with some of you all, but what do you think imposter syndrome is? What does that look like? And there's no right or wrong answer. Just want to gauge where we're at. Go ahead, sir.
I think it can be internalizing negative attitudes and beliefs that people have about people who look like you or present as you.
Yeah, I like that. Internalizing negative attitudes about beliefs that people have about you. Anybody else want to throw out something? Go ahead.
It can be, also too, like internalizing about the beliefs that you feel about yourself. You feel like you're not supposed to be in a certain role or position, in life. Like, hey, how can I get
You giving them too much. Kevin is spot on because if y'all heard what he said, you know, there's a lot of questions that you're asking yourself and feeling like, am I supposed to be here? And we can have those conversations with ourselves over and over in our head. So we're going to look at the text definition and we're going to break this down even a little bit further. So imposter syndrome is the persistent feeling of being a fraud and doubting one's achievements despite evidence of success and competence. Big time, right? Mm-hmm. The evidence is there. You've already put in the work, but for some reason, you're not sure if the work is good enough. Now, let me break this down. I'm going to kind of expand on what Kevin just shared. Imposter syndrome can look like this. It's 4 things I want you all to remember too. Number 1, second guessing yourself. The decisions that you make. And I'm not just talking about some of the ancillary decisions like, okay, what am I going to eat? What am I going to wear? I'm talking about those big decisions in life. Okay, I've just graduated. Now, what do I do with my career? Or I've been in my field for 10 or 15 years and I think I want to pivot. But I'm not sure if I do take that leap, is it going to work? So you're staying up late at night because you don't want to make the wrong move, and essentially sometimes you just get stuck. So that's number 1. You will find yourself second guessing yourself. Number 2, you're going to downplay your accomplishments. Anybody ever done that before? Somebody asked you who you are, and it's like you give a real quick answer. You don't elaborate at all. Yeah, I think
It wasn't nothing.
it
wasn't a big deal.
It wasn't a big deal. It wasn't nothing. What else do we sometimes say?
And I also feel like it depends on the certain crowd you're around. Because I have certain friends that didn't go to school or anything like that. And then when I speak on compliment, I don't want them to think that I act like I'm better than them. So sometimes you change your mindset when you're around other people. You can just fit in.
I gotta add that to the list. Like shrinking yourself. So go ahead.
Maybe we move too far here, but I think where that's really from black folks really in general speaking, from being in school and not being smart is the cool thing to be, right? And I think you start developing from way back then.
Yeah. So it's,
you know what I'm saying?
so essentially, anybody ever done that? Like you knew the answer to something, but you didn't want somebody else to feel bad, so you just waited. Like, okay, I'm not gonna say this. I know it's wrong, but all right, because I don't want to take the shine. And it's like almost like what you're saying, sir. Like being like not knowing the answer sometimes becomes cool, so you're indifferent about it. That's spot on. So number 1, again, second guessing yourself. Number 2, you're gonna downplay your accomplishments. Number 3, you're gonna have fear that somebody's gonna find out you're not who they think you are. That's where that I'm a fraud comes in, and you start to second guess yourself even further. And then number 4, there's gonna be fear or anxiety associated with all of those other issues and symptoms. So I saw a lot of heads nodding. I'm gonna break down imposter syndrome even a little bit further. Would y'all know that it's not all one-size-fits-all approach? So I'm gonna go through 5 different types of imposter syndrome, and if any of them stand out to you, either you know somebody or maybe that person is you, just kind of raise your hand. So first, we have the natural genius. For the natural genius, a lot of stuff comes natural to you. Like you're naturally good at stuff. People can throw you on the spot, and you go ahead and crush it, right? That might be you. And then, but because of that, the downside is when you're not good at something, something's wrong with me. Because I can get everything else naturally. I don't need to practice, I don't need to rehearse. I'm just good. And there's a lot of pressure that you put on yourself. Or sometimes it can come from parents, like you've been good, so it's like they keep propping you up. And then when you don't know something, you're like, I don't want to say anything, because they look at me as the go-to person. Is anybody here the go-to person in their family or in their circle? Yeah. That can be overwhelming. So that's number 1, you have the natural genius. Number 2, you have the expert. This person wants to know everything about anything. Like you can never have enough details or enough information. So like if you're planning something, you kind of want to know the A to Z, and then you want to know why we're doing the A to Z. It's like you over prepare. Okay, I see y'all head nodding there too. So we got the natural genius, we have the expert, and then what we have is the Superman or Superwoman syndrome. What do y'all think that looks like?
Dr. William.
Yep, Doctor. So what does that mean? Can you elaborate just a little bit?
It's just knowing after everything, still trying to get that superiority complex approved.
What did I ask you today when I saw your setup? I was like, dang, you set all this up so long. You like, yeah. And I'm sure it was a lot, right? I'm sure it would have been a little bit easier if you had one or two more people with you.
But with imposter syndrome, it's hard because you want to do it yourself.
Yeah, you want to do it yourself.
Because you know how you want it.
Yeah. That's true, but it comes at a cost. Did y'all hear what the brother said? You know how you want it. Number 4, you're going to have the perfectionist. Anybody here a perfectionist at times? Yeah, a lot of us can relate to that one. It's like, and then you got to have everything just right. And then last, we have the soloist. Now, this person is kind of a loner. They do, they don't like to follow the crowd. They do things on their own. But again, it's to their detriment. Because there's a lot of stress associated with all those different types of imposter syndrome. All right, Justin, now that we broke it down, can you help me out? But we're going to talk about, why we're talking about it. So, one reason that we're talking about it is because as men, and I'm loving it, there's a lot of men here, we don't like to discuss what we have going on this side. When I talk about imposter syndrome, usually men are like, what? They're really shying away from the topic because we don't want to be seen as what? Weak. Right. If I need help, what is wrong with me? Actually, a lot of times when I'm even doing presentations, there's some help. Like Desi and I, I'm using his laptop. We coordinated because we know we can go further with helping each other out. Having a videographer here, just having support, it does help. But sometimes we like to do everything on our own. But again, it's to our detriment. So we have to break the silence and have more conversations about why we do this and then how it's impacting us. Another reason we're talking about it is because we want to validate our experiences. Where does this come from? Sometimes it comes from adverse childhood experiences. Mom or dad putting everything on you. Yeah, those aces, they show up. So now you're like the chosen one. And if you do speak up about being hurt or needing some help, overthinking, somebody might try to one-up you. You ever had something going on and you telling somebody and they, oh man, no, but what happened to me?
Right.
No, it's like, wait, I'm just trying to share what I'm going through. But then they invalidate you. So when they invalidate you, what does that do to you?
Shut down.
Yeah, you should. You go ahead, tell your story then. You had a floor, right? And now you feel like it kind of unintentionally tells you, I'm not going to talk about what I have going on. I don't really care how stressful it is because every time I do open up, and even if I think this person I can trust or it's a safe space, you try to one-up me or tell me that, oh man, you can figure it out, you can handle it, you tough. Yeah, I am tough. That's why I'm talking to you about it. And then the next one I want to highlight is the productivity and performance. How many of us like to perform and kind of like to ascend, maybe in our careers, we want to be that family person too? Yeah. The more we can talk about it, the higher up you can go. Because this is what I've seen in real time. Working with different people with, struggling with imposter syndrome. They'll doubt themselves, and then opportunities will pass them up. I'll never forget I was working with somebody who was super spot on, I won't say perfectionist, but just really had their stuff together, right? And they wanted to move up and get a promotion. So the promotion comes up, and guess what happens? Guess what that person did when it was time to promote? They declined it with us. Worse than that, they didn't even apply. Now, I didn't know that until after I was like, boy, we didn't even talk about it. So again, you had a reason. We didn't talk about it until after the deadline was over. So when you want to move up, you want to discuss what are some of the weaknesses, what are some of the things you have anxiety about. But sometimes, what is the saying? You miss every shot you don't take.
Yes.
So and then what happened to kind of close the loop on that story? Their manager told them. Guess what they told them?
You would have got it.
Yeah. Say it again. Say it louder.
You would have got it.
You would have got
got
it. That was your job. That was their job. But then that becomes a pattern of things that we can do. We can self-sabotage. Somebody said that earlier. I think you said that, Desi. We can self-sabotage and we don't go after things that are really meant for us. So these are some of the reasons why we're talking about it today. Go ahead.
How do you deal with, I'm trying to say I'm phrasing the question. You're dealing with people that are not as excited about your situation, so you hold that back and not share it?
Oh man, that's a good question.
It sure is.
They're asking some good
Yeah,
questions.
I'm gonna give you a straight answer. If you have those people that are around you, you have to. It's not really those people. How do you deal with those people? You ask yourself, why are you still surrounded by?
They're not bad people. And let me just
Yeah, go ahead.
Jason, give you my situation. And you know, just being here, just
Just know you're telling your story.
right, exactly. I went back to school. I got a double master's. I graduated. I was excited. I invited everybody to the graduation. They came. The following year, I got nominated for an honorary doctorate degree. I got it. I was excited. I did not invite everybody in the room to that graduation. They were upset because I didn't invite them to the graduation, but they made some comments about, well, it's just an honorary doctorate and I have to pay for mine. I didn't. So that's where
So
I'm holding back.
yeah. So in that situation, if they're saying, hey, we wish you would have invited me, but also it's just an honorary doctorate. That's what you're saying?
Yeah.
So and you had that conversation with them, right? Like, yeah, I would have invited you. However, I'm inviting a lot of people that are really accepting and happy for me, not people that are just, clapping for me, but then they sneak dissing me behind my back. Yeah. So really, it becomes how much do you want to just tell them exactly why you didn't invite them, but also, are they still in your ecosystem and circle?
And they are.
And so that becomes a you problem, not their problem.
Gotcha.
I'm not just being. I can't do that with me. Right? I might take a jump out there. That's why. But it takes a lot for us to be able to, one, even recognize that we have those people in our circle. You're not alone. You're helping somebody else with that question. So I really applaud you for just being transparent about that. And I would, when you start putting just on something that you've done, that's number two. And I said that's downplaying your success. And if somebody else is doing it, it's just like the aces. It could happen to you, or you got somebody that's right there and it happened to them. It still coincides with how you feel. So protecting our circle is key. Go ahead, Dr. Tori.
You actually if you got an honorary degree, congratulations.
Thank you.
That's for you. That's not for them either.
Right.
So I'm gonna give you an example because I'm an example person. I'm a Delta, I'm supposed to be in DC. Queen Latifah is a Delta now.
Yes, she
So
is.
you think people gonna sit up here and be like, oh, well, I ain't gonna celebrate her because she ain't pledged? Nah, they gonna brag about it.
Yep.
So you have to be the person to take the people out your circle and brag about your degree. Because honorary or not, you earned it. Because somebody rewarded it. You. But that's the reason why we're here talking to Dr. Phillips, because he knows about it. And so that question was valid, but again, you still dealing with some imposter syndrome issues. That you gotta open up and we gotta own it. We don't own anything. We blame everybody for everything. Own your honorary degree.
Go ahead, Kevin.
So I guess me thinking something you said earlier about violent imposter syndrome. I feel like imposter syndrome and ACEs go together, because the imposter syndrome might start with the ACEs, because you might not have got that affirmation early on, or like an example might be like, you know, hey, I'm going through this. And your mama be like, well, everybody going through the same thing. You know? And now you're growing up, you thinking like, dang, I don't need to explain how I'm feeling, my problems, or what I'm going through. I might not want to tell people something that I accomplished because they might give me a blind response. So now it's like, now you build up those lost feelings like, dang, now you here, like, you know.
Okay, I feel like you were listening when I was talking to Dr. Tori earlier, because we talked about that. She said you're gonna have to talk about how ACEs and imposter syndrome are in connection. But
My
you're
bad if I
exactly.
jumped too early.
No, you're right on this.
My brain is just turning over.
But that is spot on, because again, like if you do have a single parent household, and maybe that single parent is stressed out, so they're putting pressure on you, or they may be jealous of you because they're not ascending the way they want to.
Yeah.
So yes, ACEs and imposter syndrome definitely goes hand in hand. Or if that person is using drugs or being abusive, how does that make you feel?
Yeah.
Go ahead. You first and then.
Yeah, thanks, Mike.
Thank you, Mike.
Yeah, so something you said regarding needing help. So, Superman complex has always been me. Growing up, it's always been me, myself, and I, only child. So, what would be some good advice for myself, who's used to doing things by themselves, not having a lot of people, used to having my own assaults? What would be some good steps to kind of get out of that?
Yeah, one, I would write down like who you want your circle, or what you want your circle to look like, and what specific traits you want to see in them. And then it's kind of like building up credit. So once you, like if you're trying to buy a house, they're not just gonna give you, $1 million loan if you don't have the credit first. So you have to build that up. So with the people that you put in your circle, have them build up the credit with you to see if they're trustworthy and reliable enough for you to go deep with them before you just let people in, and then it damages your belief to trusting people again. But first write down so you're very clear on what you're looking for in people. Because people are everywhere. But you want a certain group of people to be able to rock with you. Great question.
Very good question.
So definitely, I was thinking about the ACEs and imposter syndrome because I'm a MSW student, doing amazing, but I also grew up being the baby child and being the least favorite one. I literally saw my mother paying more favoritism to the other two. But I'm always the one that excelled and always did better. So I feel real imposter syndrome right now because I never feel like, I'm doing great, or even though I'm doing amazing. And so I don't even know how to deal with it. I mean, and I don't want to affect school because I'm like, doing well. So
the short answer would be work with a professional to help you unpack the layers of what you experienced growing up. That, in your situation, you said you're the youngest of all your siblings, right? And how old are you now, if you don't mind? 56. So for at least 55 years, you've been carrying around a lot of things. That's 5+ decades of hurt that you didn't receive from your mom or your parents or in that family household. Something that you can start to do now is start to journal, because then you can see your thoughts on paper, you can analyze it, you can get a sense of what are the patterns and themes that are coming up, and then you can take that to someone else, whether that be the therapist, the coach, the group, to go even further on what you already started working on yourself. Because again, how many of us are always open to get help from somebody else if we can do it ourselves first? So starting with you, writing and being open first, but then once you're like, okay, I took myself as far as I can go, be honest about that, and then reach out for more support.
Or is it just coming to grips with it? You said for almost 56 years, but has he come to grips with it, the situation?
I know, because he wouldn't ask, he has it, right? You haven't come to grips with it.
not completely totally, no.
Yep. So that's where you can get the extra support to actually be able to come to grips with it. And then the second part of that, I would say, think about what your life will look like once you do come to grips with it. So what I want to do, we talked kind of about the different ways imposter syndrome shows up. Y'all familiar with any of these? Perfectionism, procrastination, paralysis, or people pleasing? Which one stands out to anybody? Go ahead.
People pleasing.
People pleasing.
Especially like, I'm the only child as well. So it's been me and my mom.
Yeah.
So I'm always the person who's trying to please the things for her. And now to the point where I'm in a big decision in my life now that I'll be graduating in August in my MSW. And I got a job offer to relocate. So, and the job offer is very nice. And I did talk to her about it. When I talked to her about her whole vibe changed. And her fears trying to go on to me now. What about what's going on? You know, in the news now, black men getting killed, racism. What's going to go on when you go to another state? Like all these fears that she coming out to her, she putting it on me now. And so I'm in that decision now. Like, do I put down that job offer and just get a job here to be closer to her, or is it that time that I need to move on and find something better? So I'm like in that struggle right now with that.
You know, I'll say this briefly. You know, having moved, I was talking to, what's your name, ma'am?
Jill.
Oh, no. I'm sorry. Yeah.
Oh, Sharonda.
Sharana. I was talking to Sharana because Sharana has lived in Ohio. She lived in FC, and I've lived in a bunch of places too. So I made decisions throughout my career that have taken me from Detroit. Like I said, I started here, but I've been a bunch of places. And you know, if I would have had my mom's input on all those decisions, right, maybe I still would have went. But then I'll have another voice in all of what she's had going on, impacting my decisions. So that's why we have to work through this, because when I moved to North Carolina 10 years ago, my mom was super happy. I mean, I'm sure she was sad because I was leaving, only son, but other family weren't so happy. But I had to know like what I'm doing for me. So I want to give you a concept to think about. We talked about the self-doubt, the fear of failure, the overworking that comes with imposter syndrome. Yeah, they hit. I'll go back so y'all can take a picture of that. This is the impact. This is what happens when you don't address imposter syndrome. These are some of the stats. I'm not going to go through all of those, but 70% of people experience it. That's a lot. That's a high number. It shows up in our thoughts, emotions, our behaviors. We're not going to go through the scenario today, but I want to give you all a tool and a way to remember how to address imposter syndrome, and that's through the acronym RISE. I'll take a picture of this one too. This is a good slide. The ways that you can manage imposter syndrome by yourself. Okay.
Wait, go back.
Oh, my bad. Thank you for speaking up.
I'm learning my imposter syndrome.
Yeah. So I want y'all to remember the acronym RISE. And the R stands for recognize. We want to be able to recognize when these thoughts and patterns are showing up. When are we starting to doubt ourselves? When are we starting to over-prepare? And it does start in our mind first. The I stands for identify. I want you to identify, what do you bring to the table? Can one person tell me something that is great about them right now? Go ahead, sir.
I'm good at developing and implementing higher education programs.
Awesome. You said I'm good at developing and implementing higher education programs. The reason why I want you all to know what you bring to the table, because you have to know your worth and not wait on somebody else to tell you what you're worth. Okay, that's the I. The S is for shifting your focus. Going back to the basics, like knowing why you do this work. Knowing why you're making the decision. Frederick, you just said you got different opportunities in front of you. When you make the decision, have it rooted in your principles, like what you value. Sometimes we can get stuck in like the right now, not thinking about where we've been and where we want to go. go back to, why you're grounded and rooted in what you believe. Not focusing on the shortcomings. And then the E, I'm probably gonna say this is the most important, which is execute. Can y'all say that with me?
Execute.
We have to start taking action. And the more that we can execute on the things that we need to do, the less stuck we're gonna feel. The more we're gonna be able to be more productive, better husbands, better fathers, all those things that we aspire to do and be, but we have to take the action first. Sometimes we don't take action. What do? Procrastinate. We think about it over and over and over, and then things pass us up. So, y'all can see this last year at the Manifest. These are some of the takeaways. We talked about the time to reflect. That could look like journaling, talking to people you trust, identifying the root causes. See, imposter syndrome sits up here. But when we peel back the layers, when we talk about why it's happening, that's when we get into the ACEs, the past issues that haven't been addressed. And then maintaining the healthy supports. And you gotta have the best people around you in order for you to be the best person. So we still have a few minutes. You can scan. This is a free download, so if you are looking for different tips to be more confident, to be a better leader for yourself, for those you love, you can download that through scanning, and then follow me. Feel free to follow me on any social media platforms. And a few minutes if anybody has any questions. Go ahead.
Not necessarily a question, but I guess my own definition of imposter syndrome, please help me first. Allowing external and internal factors and thoughts to determine who you are and what positions and roles you play in life.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you're allowing people who maybe don't matter to you, or people, there's things that are going on around you, but it's not inside for you, and you're allowing that to influence your decision. So again, what that looks like in real time, something can be for you. It could even be a relationship. But because you're looking at what somebody has said or what somebody might say, you're allowing that to influence who you are with. And it can even look like you being with the wrong person because you don't want to make somebody else upset. That's the external factor. Great question. Yeah. Anybody else? Go ahead, sir.
So I know the point of the men's conference eventually is to become more integrated, right? And so we're slowly making our way there. But I'm wondering, as you were talking about identifying the root causes, right? If this specific topic is something that is that minority groups probably identify with more so with. That's just what it seemed like, in my opinion. I don't have a whole lot of.
So I'm gonna jump back a couple slides just to help. You're spot on. We didn't have the time to fully go through it.
Okay.
But who it impacts a lot are the high achievers. Any high achievers in the room? Mm-hmm. You can be cool. don't be shy about it. It's not the time to be shy about it. Any people in minority groups in the room? Any first time college students in the room?
Yeah.
Do you work in a competitive field? So like if you hit let's say you got 3 or 4 out of these 5, that's a high percentage, right? So yes, everything you said, that is definitely going to impact your.
So you feel like you got to show up for your people or for your family or.
Yeah. So when I was at Michigan, let's say there was like 200 social workers at that school. One is the #1 school of social work in the country. Mm-hmm. So it's already, you got the best of the best there. It's mostly white, female, some males, but you probably had like 5, maybe 10 males out of the whole program, out of like 200 students. Mm. It's a lot. So, you can feel like you got a lot of pressure on you. And I'll never forget, I'll share this story before we wrap up. I had a Scarface hoodie on because I was from Detroit. And one of my colleagues, I think she was from Texas, and she was like, "You can't wear that here." I was like, "Why? This is, it's a dope hoodie." She was like, "What? We're in social work. That's not what we represent." I'm like, "Man, what?" Like, so now I'm second guessing, like, am I not representing the social work community right? But that can happen when you're like one-on-one in these big spaces. I want to say to you all, you know, I love the fact that we were so open and honest today about imposter syndrome, talking about what it is, what it looks like, and how it impacts us. What I want to challenge you all to do is think about what your life would look like if you really and truly started to trust yourselves. Thank you all.